I was born and raised in San Francisco, California. I work for the VA, which is the Veterans Hospital here in Modesto, and I work for homeless veterans, and I work to house them. Military, I'm in the Army Reserve. Okay. I've been married to Michael Sorey for almost 11 years. It'll be 11 years March 1st. Mike in 2005. So it was prior to going overseas. I got called up to go to Iraq to be a truck driver, to drive fuel. And at that time in my life, I was single. I only had one child. He was 3 at the time. And I thought that this was going to be like a stump in the road because I was really ready to settle down and meet somebody. So I was sad, 1, because I was going to war and I had a child. 2, because, you know, it was at that time in my life where I really wanted to settle down and meet somebody. Well, I went over to my deployment. We trained up here in the States, first in Texas, and we trained up for about 6 months, almost 6 to 7 months, and then we went overseas. So I met Mike prior to train up, and we kind of hit it off at the beginning. We were friends, and then we drove together. So our relationship got stronger as the time went by. And then once we went, it was close to, I think it was about 3 months before we went overseas. And we had been probably dating for about 6 months. And then right before we went overseas, we were in Texas at a mobilization station where they get you ready to go overseas. And that's when he actually asked me to marry him during Hangman at a simulation course, which was teaching us how to drive. At that time, I was kind of confused because I was in a relationship for a longer period of time, and I, never got that question asked to me. So it was confusing at the time, but I went ahead and I said yes. So Mike is a Caucasian male, so it was a different kind of relationship because I'm African American, he's Caucasian. We're both in the service. So there's a lot of stipulations there with our relationship. There was a lot of barriers with the military, but we went overseas and we fought war in Iraq. We drove fuel from Baghdad, in Baghdad about 5 miles to and from for the troops, and we lasted a year out there. Then we came back, and that's when we decided to get married. So I think that the military is our foundation. It was hard to be overseas. It was hard to kind of build a relationship when you know you're at war, not knowing if you're going to live to the next day or you're going to even make it home in 12 months. So I think with that relationship, we've built like a strong foundation. But then also, if you think about our relationship, we deal with a lot of things such as PTSD, anxiety, and other factors that other relationships don't have. So it's kind of tricky. It's hard, but together we're soldiers. So we learn how to fight through it and get through it. But so here we are, 11 years, 2 additional children.